to do a quick demo of the embedded data randomization as a part of element randomization in Qualtrics. And the scenario you would use this in is, for example, you have you would like to randomly divide your participants up into groups. For example, say you have you would like to divide them up into two groups. One would be the control group, the other would be the treatment group for the experiment. And so you initially set up your blocks. This is just an example, block 1 and block 2. And depending on, and everybody receives this block. This is a starter question, but depending on the randomizer setup, whether you receive this block or this block will be just the element of chance, and that will define which group you're in. One would be the control group block, and the other would be the treatment block. And after that, that would also define furthermore which blocks these groups will see in the survey, and you can define the workflows depending on the group. And so I'm going to demo how to do that. Okay, so we're going to have to go over to the survey flow. If you can see over to the left, the little icon with the blocks. And I kind of pulled a trick. I went ahead and I deleted the blocks out in front the way they're represented. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set this up. So this is our start block, and I'm going to add an element I'm going to add an element here, and the element here will be a randomizer. And then I'm going to add this is going to be what divides the participants up into the groups, group 1 and group 2 we'll call them. So I'm going to add below, actually I didn't mean to do that, let's cancel that. I'm going to add an element below the randomizer, and that is going to be an embedded data element, and I'm going to call the element group, and the group will be set to a value 1. This is going to be your, let's say this is your control group, but at any rate it's group 1. And then I'm going to add a new element, and then we're going to embed data for it, and this will be set to group 2. And now what we need to do is to link these groups accordingly. We're going to do what's known as a branch. You might recognize this if you do programming. This is if a condition holds, then we will do something. So I'm going to add a condition, and the condition is based on embedded data. And the condition is if group value is equal to 1, okay, then show block 1. And then I'm going to add another conditional branch. Add a condition. It's also embedded data. If group is equal to 2, and then show block 2. Okay, so just to recap, thus far we divided we randomly divided people up half and half between two groups, either group 1 or group 2. And then now, if they're in group 1, we can show them block 1, which is the initial block to show group 1. If they're in group 2, we show them block 2. And we can define, this is just to show that we can define other elements down the line in the workflow according to the groups. So I'm going to choose the block I initially was showing, where only for those who saw block 1 will receive this block further on down into the survey. And then I would like to add one more block, and everybody's going to see this block. And this is the last question, and then end of survey. Because we're going to assign these last two to both, I'm going a little bit by the documentation for Qualtrics. We might be able to, though, put it on the end element here and everybody sees it according to programming logic. But just for this demonstration, you can do this way. It's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and assign both of these the ending 2 blocks. But okay, so to demonstrate for group 2, they see the original block 2, and now a little further down they're going to also see this block only for those who are assigned to group 2. I'm going to add the same ending elements. I'm going to add the block which is the end question, and I'm going to add end of survey. And that was a demonstration of embedded data randomization.